Do you have a snail pattern in your box? Because if you don't, you should. You'll be surprised how well these can produce. Let's tie the hot snail beadhead. To start this, we have a size 16 emerger hook and device. I've put a dark colored brass bead on there, and I'm going to start dressing right behind that bead with some black 6/0 thread. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in with a length of 6-pound test monofilament, and we're going to start tying that in here on the side. And just get that lash down, and then from there we're going to loop it around and catch it on the other side. And at the moment, we just need to get that captured, and then we'll adjust things a little bit as we go. So just get that loop going. And ultimately what we want is the end of that loop to terminate right about where that hook starts to dip down. This is basically just going to be what helps to catch our resin to help build our little snail shell. There we go. And then I'll trim out that excess. This does not need to be tied in super well because it's going to get a lot of resin. So just get it in there. And then what I'll do is I'll come in behind that, and I'm going to start getting some wraps behind it to help lift it, almost like we're elevating a parachute post. So you can see that helps to lift that up a little bit. That's what we're going for, just to get it up off of that hook. And this mono, you can also kind of pinch it, do what you need to do. So now to start, we're going to come in with a fairly thick UV resin. And what we want to do is basically form a bubble of resin inside of that little loop, just to get a base started. So I'm just going to fill that loop with that resin and then hit it with my light and get it cured. So basically your whole little mono loop there should be filled up with resin. Now we're going to start bulking that out a little bit. So I'm just going to come in, add some resin over top of what we've already done. And we're just going to kind of spin this thing to keep that stuff where we need it to be. Hit it with our light, cure it in place. Now, after my second coat, personally, this is when I start sort of decorating my little shell. So I'm just coming in here with a brown permanent marker. You can use whatever color you want here. You can go dark, make it all black, green, whatever you want to do, go wild with it. This is the one that I tend to use. It still allows some light to pass through, still some transparency there, but it's getting me that darker color. A lot of the snails in my local water are closer to a brown than a black. Once I get that on there, we're going to come in and give it another coat. So now I'm starting to ease up just a little bit in the amount of resin I'm actually putting on there. I mainly just want to coat the marker that I added. And I want to get that shell fairly upright, so I'm going to kind of let it settle towards the back. Light, sort of capture all that and get it in place where I want it. Now from here, you can stop here. You can make this shell as big as you want, experiment with it. Do just a little bit of black up towards the top, just to darken out the top. And I give it one more small coat of the resin, pretty much just where I applied that marker. So I'm not going around it or anything like that, just focusing it there on the actual marker I just put on. And then I want it to run down into that body just a bit, get in there with my light, cure it real quick. If you get any ridges or anything like that in this pattern, it's fine. It actually adds a lot of dimension to what is a shell, which are never, in snails, they're not perfectly flat. They have ridges and valleys and all kinds of stuff. That is my shell. Easy breezy. Now, once you've got your shell where you want it, just come in and restart that thread right up in front of it. Snip off that excess, and now I'm going to tie in 3 pieces of peacock here. You can substitute this for peacock dubbing, whatever you want to do. And from there, we're just going to wrap this small little portion that is right in front of our shell. Get some good wraps in there, capture it, tie it off. I tend to go ahead and whip finish before I worry about dealing with this little bit of peacock. Come in and whip. Trim that out. Last of that peacock out, and there it is. All right, there's the bead head hot snail. This thing works. You will have fish that focus in on snails. You just will. And a lot of times this can just give those fish a different look. If you're fishing on water that's just beat to death, this is giving them a look that a lot of other fly fishermen don't give. And because of that, this thing can be super productive. Still water, free flowing, it works in both. Snails are there. Fish will eat snails. The epoxy body helps to punch this thing down, and you do want it to just kind of tumble, very near the bottom. So it gets nice and low in the water column. You can adjust it by leaving the bead off, whatever you need to do for your water, but easy to fish. Just let this thing tumble. It'll produce. On top of that, it gets you out of your comfort zone a little bit with tying the same old stuff. And anytime we can broaden our tying skills, it's worth doing. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Tight lines. God bless. See you in the next one.